Hello everyone. I am covered in juice because I'm fucking stupid. How are we all doing today? Hope you guys like the new just chatting screen. I'm pretty sure the camera's in focus. And if it isn't, get new glasses. That's really mean. I can't say that. How are we all doing today? Hello, lovely scientist. Here is a Skydrate for you. I'm all Skydrated up. God, did you guys know that TikTok have added stories? So now when I go live, there's a fourth social media platform that I have to advertise myself on. Because Tumblr, I've done the absolute most laziest thing where I've just got a pinned post that says, "Hey, I'm live, come watch the stream," and I just reblog it on a loop. Yeah, so you can make a story on TikTok now. Couldn't upload video. Let's make a TikTok together, chat. Alright, chat, let's make a TikTok together talking about how I'm currently live on Twitch TV and that everyone should come down and see some Red Dead Redemption. So, if they're seeing this, they should watch Red Dead 2 with me. Alright, chat, let's make a TikTok together. I fucked that up, let's do that again. Alright, chat, we're gonna make a TikTok together about the fact that I'm currently live on Red Dead Redemption 2 on... Fuck! This is what my TikToks are like. Last one. I'm going to think about what I'm saying. I'm going to think about the fact that we are making a TikTok together, me and chat, about how I am currently live on Twitch playing Red Dead Redemption 2 and analysing it from a narrative and film perspective. And that if you like films, if you like writing, you should come watch. We are making a TikTok together, me and chat, about Twitch playing Red Dead Redemption 2 and analysing it from a narrative and film perspective. We got there in the end, chat. If you like writing, you should come watch. We are making a TikTok together, me and chat, about how I am currently live on Twitch playing Red Dead Redemption 2 and analysing it from a narrative and film. We got there in the end. Got some exclusive behind the scenes of what goes on when I'm struggling. Just absolutely struggling to do anything of worth. Yay, my story was uploaded. I hope you guys have enjoyed the Instagram and how I've been using it as a little blog of what's going on in my life. And everyone, I unmuted the game. I've unmuted the game's audio. You can hear the game's audio now. There should be no other technical issues. I changed up the camera again just a little bit while I'm still getting used to the new setup. And oh, the hotkey buttons actually work now. God, I'm so on it right now, chat. I'm so on it. I know exactly what's going on. I totally did not just wake up 10 minutes ago from a nap. And literally had to sit here and like stretch out my face so that it had some energy in it. Alright, chat, we had a bit of a failed stream last time, which is why it is not in the archives, but I can just kind of discuss what happened. So, we didn't do anything major. We went fishing with Kieran, in which we kind of discussed a bit more about how terribly the group really treats Kieran. And they have given Kieran no real reason to trust them, and yet Kieran does. We killed Flaco Hernandez, the last of the legendary gunslingers. Wasn't much of a conversation, honestly. We just stepped out and shot him in the face. It was interesting that he was based right here, whereas we, in the first chapter, were based literally just over here. We rode about a wee bit. We went back to Emmett Post? No, we went back to one of the gunslingers, the old gunslinger's house by coincidence, and discovered he had a harmonica, which we're going to give to Sadie. And we collected a debt from one of our many debt collectors, or our debtors. And we discussed a bit more how the nature of Arthur's morality, in which that he does, like, the only time we've really seen Arthur be a truly bad man by his own standard is the fact that he deplores this debt collecting from the poor, yet does it anyway because it makes him money. Before that, let's take a wee look at the journal, and we'll catch up on some things that we missed.
Listen, Dutch, can I talk to you a minute?
What is it?
I think you misunderstood me earlier. I
Ooh.
ain't trying to rob you. You know me better than that.
What are you trying to do, Micah?
Save you. Save everybody. You know me. I'll go back to Blackwater and get the money. Meet you all someplace and we'll be home free. That's it. Just think about it. That's all I'm saying. The way I see it, we gotta try.
I'll think about it.
Thank you. I'll do whatever you say. Always.
What are you trying to pull here?
Nothing. I'm trying to help.
Right, you are.
I'm not sure if Micah has a delivery problem, and as someone with a delivery problem, I can very much sympathize. But that seemed incredibly inauthentic.
Don't you tell him a thing about that money. I ain't a fool, Arthur. I know. I just don't trust him. Okay, I'll catch you later then. All right,
Like,
then.
it's legitimately possible that Micah is looking out for the group's best interests here, but I don't trust him. No one seems to trust him, which could just make things more difficult, because if he is working with the group's best interests at mind here, Dutch doesn't trust him, Arthur doesn't trust him, we don't trust him. It's going to be very hard for him to actually work within our interests when we don't allow him to work within our interests. Anyway, we're going to read the journal. No, we're going to read the there we go. Now, at some point, we're going to do a quick general recap of one of these. Like a clip share episode of kind of all the things we got up to. Met a fella called Miss Margaret, an animal trainer and a showman or showwoman, mistress of danger, quite a character, wants me to find some missing animals. Are all Englishmen that weird, I wonder? All of his animals were as fake as the rest of his act, until I tried to find and retrieve a real lion from somewhere or other in Africa. I thought I was going to be another dog. But no, it was a real lion. Things looked like it wanted me for its next meal. After hunting a zebra that was a donkey, and a tiger that was a cougar, and another lion that was just a dog, or I think that's right, I think I've lost track of the whole thing, and an assistant that's a real woman and him... And an assistant that's a real woman and him, a strange English maniac in a dress, pretending to be all that he isn't. Remind yourself to never go on stage. Gave me pretty decent emerald as payment for my troubles. Maybe he wasn't so bad after all. So yeah, we helped Miss Margaret and her traveling circus reconvene. Black Belle, what a woman. If she was younger and I was in the market for a woman to go kill him with, what a pair we could have made. She told me old boy Calloway was a poser and a liar. Big surprise. Stumbled into this old drunk. Oh, this was the slave trader. The world was full of self-pitying drunks. Hell, I hope to grow into one myself. Blamed everyone else for his plight. Lost his career and home. Wanted me to find some things for him. Maybe I'll head over there sometime. Bastard was a slave catcher. Feel like a fool. Went to see nice Mr. Compson again. Last thing he'll see. He's dead. Finally, we have achieved the state of true insanity. For the first time in my life, I am a deputized lawman. We went off with some moronic dupe deputy, working for the alcohol-drenched Sheriff Grey, pursuing some moonshiners. Dutch is convinced this will somehow lead to riches beyond compare. Seems the one powerful local family, the Greys, ex-Scots, is warring with another proud English family, the Braithwaites, like some long-run dispute from the border country. Apparently there's gold or women or something at the root of this, and if it's gold, we want it. Either way, we are so deep in the swamp and so entirely lost ourselves. I hope it will take the Pinkertons and their like a long while to find us. We shall see. In the meantime, a new career path in law seems to await. Seems like amongst our other perils, a gang called the Lemoy Raiders won't take too kindly to outsiders or anyone who ain't living in the distant past. Killed Flaco Hernandez. Met a weird man who wants to sell me fish. Or me to sell him fish. And that's kind of where we're at. This chapter, I've noticed, is very much about people who were stuck in the past. The Braithwaites and the Greys are fighting over something that they don't even really understand anymore.
Oh, hey, Arthur. What you want, Micah?
Nothing. I'm just being civil, my brother.
Well, hello, then.
You really are a very charming man, aren't you?
I believe he's a puppet. I never knew that. Excuse me, please.
Did we just miss like a genuine human moment of connection between Mary Beth and Grimshaw? Thanks, Micah.
Susan,
Place is getting to me.
you seem to have everything well in order here.
I wouldn't go that far.
Hey, Mary Beth.
Hello, Arthur.
Sometimes I wonder why you stick with us reprobates.
I sometimes wonder myself.
Anyway,
Oh,
shouldn't put ideas in your head.
All right.
there was another thing going on. Molly and Dutch were having a fallout about Dutch possibly cheating on her.
You okay?
You playing lawman? I do that sometimes too.
I love you, Jack. Yeah, this everyone in this chapter seems to be stuck very much in the past. There's the Lemoy Raiders, there's Compton, there's the Braithwaites and the Greys fighting over something that they can't even quite tell that they're fighting over anymore.
I'm good.
Things are pretty good all around.
Hey, Abigail.
Hey, Abigail.
Hi, Arthur.
You and the boy got everything you need?
Yeah, I think so. Thank you.
All right, well, you let me know.
Okay.
We've never once seen John ask that question. I just want to point that out. We have never once seen John ask that question. Letter to Lenny from Father. My dear Leonard, it is only 3 days since you and your mother stood on the platform so dutifully until my train were out of sight, and I already feel compelled to write. How handsome you looked then. You must learn chastity young, and learn it well. There are truths a man of my upbringing finds it easier to set down than to speak, even to his son. I expect this is not easy for a boy to understand. In some ways, I hope you do not understand it. Here is one such truth. I know that I have sometimes been more tutor than father to you, but do not let my sermons on your future as a lawyer persuade you that I see you more as a pupil than a son. When we meet again on Sunday next, I expect I will have stiffened once more, but this brief distance gives me liberty to tell you that you have redeemed more than you know, or ever can know, or should ever be expected to bear. I expect the yard to be clear of snow when I return. I see that it bores you, but you must learn to accommodate yourself to all useful labour, however menial. As always, read this letter aloud to your mother, and where I have written is not, do not say ain't. I am as ever, your loving father. It's interesting that we've got a letter from Lenny's dad.
Something about watching you
Micah, no. Do not try to fuck Mrs.
all
Crimson.
hot and bothered. I love it.
You'll not charm me, Mr. Bell.
I'll certainly try.
He doesn't get on with a single member of the camp. No one likes him.
Hard to know what to think of that lawman outfit.
There he is. You really need to start helping out around here.
I know.
The Lucky Dutch has a soft spot for you.
Yes, please leave.
Mr. Bell.
Hello.
Oh, Sadie. Harmonica.
Here, got hold of a harmonica for you. I look forward to hearing you play it.
The only audience I ever had was my husband, and I'm gonna keep it that way.
Huh. Fair enough.
But thank you, Arthur. This is real kind of you.
The animation is so good, you could genuinely tell she was smiling.
How are you
Sadie?
doing?
Oh, just lovely.
You awake?
The Lord just keeps testing me.
The Lord isn't doing shit, buddy. You're doing
When are
stuff
you
to
gonna
yourself.
Get your act together?
Not now, Arthur.
Can't go on like this.
I don't care.
Well, you should fucking care. You're making things worse for all of us. Alright, so we got... Is that Charles up there? Charles over there. Some fishing with Javier. But let's go see what Bill and the others are working on. Bill, Lenny, and Karen.
Hey, Arthur!
Hey, guys. Hey, Lenny.
What is it?
We got something cooking you might be interested in.
Am I gonna like the sound of this?
Been cooking since Horseshoe, but you went and kicked up all that commotion in Valentine. Now, we was preparing to rob the bank there until you got involved in all that nonsense.
Oh, some
I
good
don't
old
know, I
bank
just feel
robbery.
like it's unfinished business.
That wasn't my fault. It was just one of them things.
How come every time
It was Dutch's fault.
I get in trouble, I'm called a fool and an idiot? But when you get in trouble, oh, it's just one of them things.
It's a good point, Arthur.
A very good point.
All right, well, what do y'all want me to do?
Hit the goddamn bank with us.
You really think it's worth going back there?
4 of us can hit the bank easy, but I ain't gonna lie to you. There will be law if we linger.
And if you're serious?
No, just local boys being rounded up and pressed into action.
Meaning?
If we go in quick and quiet, we can hit it just fine. If there's 4 of us, I mean.
Y'all think it's worth the risk?
It's a bank, Arthur.
So? Is the take good?
According to the fella I met, yes. It's the end of the stock sales. Plenty of money and plenty of people milling about.
All right, I suppose it's worth taking a look at least.
We should wait until the morning. In any case, I need to change out of these rags if I'm gonna be performing.
Okay. So, Bill, this better be worth it.
Oh, it is. We put a lot of research into
What the
this
fuck is going on with Bill?
All right.
I was gonna say we should probably change out of our outfit where it says
Mr.
that
Morgan,
we're a lawman.
Herr Strauss?
that man, the debtor, Thomas Downs, apparently he's dead.
Dead? Huh. Well, he didn't seem very well.
His wife, I believe he has a wife and child. She will assume the debt, of course.
Of course.
Then you can head up there and collect. We lent them a lot of money.
Okay.
Gentlemen?
Oh, that was the
Bank.
sick
What's the
guy.
plan then?
Oh, we're gonna
Who
send
coughed
Karen
on us.
in ahead as a distraction. Then we're just gonna rush on in afterwards. Just a small bank in a little town. Nothing that big in way of security. We just need to bring you along as a insurance policy.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay, let's move out.
Nice to see Karen's riding with us. This was her plan, after all.
So, tell me again about this big can't go wrong plan of yours.
Oh, it can go wrong. Anything can, once the shooting starts.
Well, that's reassuring.
That's what I was gonna say.
Like I said,
It's
we'll
different
see
now,
how it
being
looks.
coughed on. Yeah.
If we can get in all right, we'll send Miss Jones ahead to the bank. They won't recognize her.
I'll show you boys how it's done.
What are you thinking this time?
I don't know. Fellers always like a lost little girl.
Okay, so this is an.
Drunken harlot quite like me. Either should work.
Once she's got them distracted.
This is a regular
we'll
plan
move
that
in.
these guys do.
When I was scouting the place the other day, there was only a couple of guards.
Morning. We deal with them and any customers who are feeling brave. And you always fancy yourself as the Vault Man, right, Arthur?
Oh, that reminds me. I was playing. I was watching a video the other day, which was H Bomber Guy's video on Pathologic, which came out just at the start of the pandemic.
Also been cooking up some deals with them gray boys.
And oh god, it hits differently. There's a line in it specifically where
Realize, Morgan, I'm out there putting in the work, same as you.
where
Drinking with them a couple times now. Seems they're looking for some extra security.
I'll let Bill finish.
I'm sure they are.
Could be something in it for
Yeah, he ends a part of the video by going, "There's an upcoming plague," talking about in-game. There's an upcoming plague, and no one with our position of any authority is doing anything about it because they don't want to be seen to overstep their bounds. And it goes on for the rest of the video, and all of the comments are like, "This hits differently." This hits differently a month after that this video released.
Can't believe you got me going back to Valentine.
Don't tell me it ain't hurt you leaving that bank behind.
Not really.
Work a town and not hit the bank? That's downright pathetic.
I guess we went a bit beyond working it. We shot the place to hell.
You did, Morgan. Not me. I played it cool up there. Couple of punch-ups, dealt with some O'Driscolls.
Ah, is that right?
Like I said, you mess up, it's just one of them things. I mess up, I'm the prize idiot.
See,
Well,
Bill makes a very good point here.
I don't know what to tell you.
That's how you build
You ain't
resentment.
already ripped me about that dynamite again. One mistake, and I'll never live it down.
What do you need? Pat on the back? A medal?
Just know, I got the lead on this one.
We'll
Okay,
see
Bill.
about that once things get going. Glad you and Lenny are along for this, Karen.
Someone's got to keep you boys out of trouble. I ain't sure even Lenny can be relied on to keep his head. Not after that night you two had in Valentine.
That was a good night in
I've
Valentine.
been trying to forget that. What little I remember of it.
You've always been a bad drunk. And before you say it, I know. Takes should we stop for some whiskey?
How about we wait till after the bank, alright?
Probably a fun group to party with. Lenny, you got anything to say?
So, how are you feeling about this, Lenny?
Well, at first I thought it was a bad idea. But then I figured they all are if you think about them long enough.
Certainly have been recently.
I mean, why the hell not? Roll with it. I just told him we needed you along.
I appreciate the confidence, kid.
And if we didn't rob this bank, we really would be slipping.
Thoughts like that, and you're one of us, no doubt.
Sure hope so.
Alright. Guess we're doing this then.
I like the party has a natural riding order.
So, thinking this through.
Like if I hold A, I will always come ahead before everyone.
Heap of his men in Valentine. We rob his stagecoach.
This is just dawning on you now.
And now, we're going back to the one place he knew where to find us.
That's
Yes.
the genius of it. Folk never look at what's right under their nose.
That's actually a good
Sure
point.
That's always true.
I would argue that's a pretty good point.
What's happened to you? You're getting real nervy in your old age.
The last few weeks happened. That'll have to wait. We're here. Let's take it nice and easy.
Too scared to let folks see your real face, huh?
Or we were just riding and we kicked up some dust. You know? There's a perfectly legitimate explanation about why a man on a horse would wear a mask, especially when he's part of a convoy. I feel like we know that guy. I like that there are NPCs that are reoccurring. That, like, when you come back through, it's like, oh, we've met him before.
Good morning.
Hello.
Excuse me, partner.
Good morning, mister.
Okay.
You do things that will draw more attention to yourself, and that would inherently draw less attention to yourself. You know?
All right, gentlemen, here we are.
Okay. Get ready. Good girl.
And then Nightingale goes for a bit of a shit.
Okay? Go to work.
Of course. All right, keep it cool and follow me, fellers.
We seem to be reconstructing everything that we destroyed.
So, we never decided. Is it lost little girl you want, or the drunken harlot?
I think Lost Little Girl.
I think I'd like to see the little girl lost.
So even you long to save the fallen women, eh, Arthur? You break my heart. You really do.
See, this fort is
You're
just a
ready to
good...
get going.
Good luck, gentlemen.
The other people were NPCs. At the very least, we're side characters. I don't have a right... Shit. I don't have my rifle. Bill, Lenny, I'm so sorry. Guys, I'm sorry, I don't have a gun. And I don't want to micro it. Sorry, this is really unprofessional of me, everyone. Just let me,
Let's go. Come on, let's get in there.
Get your
Forget him.
goddamn hands
You
up.
good?
This is a goddamn robbery.
Oh shit.
Nowhere to
Okay, we'll bring up the rear.
Don't make us hurt you. Here, unlock the door.
We actually tried to rob this place on our own.
The door's unlocked.
Oh, you think we're here for fun? Come on. Come on. Yeah. Open the goddamn vault. Open it.
Oh, what's this?
How's it looking? Are you in?
Nearly. This son of a bitch needs to get a move on.
Okay. Okay.
Kind of bunged up that heist a little bit. I will admit. I want this.
Too slow. Son of a bitch, hurry up! Come on!
Okay.
If anything, you should lock them in the vault.
Someone come make sure the chute behaves himself in here.
Come here. Open the lockboxes now.
The manager does that.
God damn it! Now what?
Guess I'll crack them or blow them up. Keep an eye out. I'll be as quick as I can.
Alright. Crack safes.
I think I should be able to crack these.
All right, but you better be quick. You shut the hell up and stay still.
Alright, we can do this. Just careful. Ooh, that's some money.
Come on, make it quick. How are you getting on?
Going as fast as I can. This is slower, but it's quieter.
Okay.
How much time do you think we got?
I don't know. Not much. Taking too long.
I mean, if shit hits the fan, Lenny, I will just blow open the safes, but...
Me too.
Boys, you need to move this along. I'll keep a lookout at the door.
Does Karen have a mask?
Don't worry. I see him.
How's it looking there?
Good.
Told you.
Don't count your chickens just yet.
Yeah, we need to get out of the town first, Bill.
Please, let me go. I won't say nothing. I swear.
Shut the hell up and stay where you are. Bill, how's it looking there?
We're getting there. Few more minutes.
Okay, just 2 more safes to go.
That's another one, Cliff.
There's always something enjoyable about a bank heist
How much
in
longer?
media.
Nearly there.
Okay, you reckon that's enough now?
Maybe. It's never enough.
Well, I'm ready to get the hell out of here whenever you are.
I wonder what attracts people to heist movies. Is it the same as like detective movies but in reverse? Where people love to see the con played out rather than trying to figure out what the con is. It's the
Last one.
suspense,
Good. We gotta move.
the high stakes, the risk it all. It's probably why people enjoy watching gambling as well, even if they don't particularly gamble themselves. Regroup with Bill, Karen, and Lenny. I can't go through that door, okay. See if he has anything on him. Oh shit, did they start shooting? I think they started shooting. Might be some stuff back here. It's the vicarious sneaking. Yeah? Wait, is that a lockbox? No. Alright, I think that's everything. I think it's time to go.
I think we're fine. Come on, I'll lead the way.
Let's go.
They should really give Karen a mask.
Stay calm. All of you count to 100 and keep your mouth shut. You understand me?
Should really shut the door.
And look, over there.
Oh shit. Well, things have gone better, but things have definitely gone worse for us.
Now let's get the hell out of this goddamn town.
Yes, please. We should bring Karen with us on more jobs. There we go.
You see any more of them?
Let's shoot his horse out. I always prefer to shoot people's horses out than kill them. I say as I brutally shoot a man in the head. God damn it, Nightingale. This is not the time. Stamina.
God damn it, there's more.
The music is good here. Hopefully it's not too loud. As much as I said I like to take out the horses more than I like to take out the people, I gotta protect my group. We gotta protect old William Williamson, and my boy Lenny, and my girl Karen.
Get across. Gotta beat that train, Morgan.
This is the same as the intro to GTA 5.
We lost him.
Thank you, gentlemen. That was...
Stupid and dangerous. Thank you, Bill.
We're alive and we're paid. I don't see the problem.
Yeah, and that is the problem. Still, this is a very good take. That you'll be happy, even if it did come with a heap of trouble.
Ah, it was fun.
We're already blacklisted in that town, so it's not really an issue.
Come on, get out of here. I have some other business to attend to. Don't head directly back to camp, and make sure you ain't followed.
That was a pretty good heist, all things considered. Ride to Downs Ranch. See, I don't like this. Her husband's died. They were already saying that, you know, we've taken out more money than even the house is worth. So it's like they don't have anything else to give us. But it's very interesting that this mission is being put in, well, this part of the game is put right in the same mission as our first legitimate bank heist. You know, again, it's the kind of robbing that Arthur feels is moral versus the kind of robbing that Arthur feels is immoral. Again, we're seeing that kind of contrast. Because right now, rather than having to base things off of what is truly good or evil, we are having to base things off of Arthur's morality, of what he thinks is right and wrong. And not only what he thinks is right and wrong, but what is actually what he actually thinks is right and wrong, because he makes a lot of saying about how they are bad people who do wrong things, but there's a clear difference. Oh, they have a dog.
Hello, boy.
We don't deserve to pat this dog. We're about to make these people's lives a hell. They're just
My
hell.
husband's not cold in the ground, and you've come back here, Archie. I nearly paid off what was owed.
Your husband knew the rules when he took that money. Now, I'm real sorry about the way things turned out. But he had a choice. Ain't my fault about the way the world is.
He didn't have a choice. He was good, and he did good. There wasn't no choice in that. And you've as good as killed him yourself, and don't kid yourself. You had a choice.
You speak as if killing was something I cared about.
You ever wonder about eternity? You should.
I hope it's hot and terrible, Mrs. Downs. Otherwise, I'll feel I've been sold a false bill of goods. Now, please, give me that money. Either you got a lazy eye or lack of respect. Which is it, boy?
I ain't got no lazy eye. No respect for the likes of you.
Well, maybe when your mother's finished mourning your father, I'll keep her in black on your behalf. You think on that, boy?
Well, maybe you shall, sir. And maybe other events will transpire.
You best stick to them books, because mark my words on this. Vengeance is an idiot's game. Ah, Mrs. Downs, thank you for your punctuality.
A horrible thing to say to someone who has just lost their father. But that line was cool as fuck.
It's next to godliness, isn't it?
That's cleanliness.
I'll have to take your word on that. Good day.
He's so scummy when he's doing this. Like, I want to believe that this is a performance that Arthur puts on, but it's very hard to tell what is the real Arthur. What do you think the real Arthur is, chat? We've been with Arthur for a good 12, 16 hours now. What do you think the real Arthur is? Again, you can always tell when something is impactful because we get a whole fucking cutscene of us going back to the camp. Was that mission called Sodom on the back of Gomorrah?
I don't think this lawman disguise is working, Arthur.
You know, if I didn't know, I'd think he's the same age as them silly girls.
Oh, away with you, silly man.
More flirting from Uncle?
Well, if I was 5 years younger, or $1,000 richer, well, I'd marry you. Make a dishonest woman.
How are
I
you?
would. Yeah. And that'd be the best decision I ever took.
I kind of love these two.
You're a fine woman. Oh, you keep it hidden under that sour vinegar face, nasty acid tongue. But I know that's just a rose's thorns.
You're a silver-tongued flatterer and no mistake.
Oh,
See?
I tell the truth, man.
Micah, this is how you seduce women.
With the fairies there, Mr. Morgan.
Oh, there's something
Reverend?
about that woman. Sweet and sour.
You ain't out of it again, are you?
I resent the accusation, Mr. Morgan.
Because I don't remember a time when you weren't out of it.
Got the tongue of an officer of the peace?
He compromises himself so often. Yeah, Arthur's a great example of, like, what do you do in the face of survival?
I just want to say thank you to Miss Karen, Bill, Plenty, Arthur.
Woo!
They're doing their jobs. How's it going? Rest of us, we should hang our heads in shame.
Look how much money we brought in.
To rob the goddamn bank in Valentine. Rest of us are slipping. Pride. Never in our work. You four, I salute you.
Thanks, Dad.
Oh, hey, Arthur. I left something for you by your tent. Just to say thanks for the harmonica.
Okay, thank you.
Let's see, can we take off this lawman symbol? I don't like it. Or is this something that's now, like, attached? No, it's attached. There's no getting rid of that. But, at least while we're here, we can, store in locker, store in locker, store in locker. Alright, what did Sadie leave? Some gun oil. That was nice of her. Can't quite tell about Arthur. He compromises himself so often. Yeah. The American Inferno. This is a good way to get into what literature does your character read. By Everett Miller. Chapter 2. A few thoughts upon New York. In the end, what has a man but his thoughts? I will postulate further. What is a man to stand for but his thoughts? His actions, perhaps? I know precious little of actions. Lions, donkeys, hyenas, they all act. So is that what we are? No, we are more and less than the beasts. We are thoughts, we are actions, and reflections upon those actions. Yet we are also not merely reflections. We are not mirrors. That is the preservative spirit of the gods. We are actions and the thoughts upon actions, neither one nor other. We are free neither from action nor from thought. Our humanity can only be understood if we embrace both the animal and the god within us. As humans, we must nourish both. Yet America is a land of action, a place of fixated not on ideas, not on redemptive powers of thought, but on the obliteration of the intellect. Use of the word redemption there was quite interesting. It is a place where mankind has attempted to deny half of his being, and is pursuing freedom has attempted to split himself. Much as a monk gives up the pleasure of the body, so the American is encouraged to give up the pleasures of the mind. He is led by desire into a pig pen awaiting his own slaughter. With this in mind, I decided that my study could be best conducted by travelling around this country and seeing how we, as Americans, could best awaken the god and the animal within. I wandered into the Inferno, the grand human inferno, the fiery and mediocre hell that is Manhattan, a world built by men for the torture of their fellows. A place that shows, beyond all reasonable doubt, that when left to his own device, when removing God entirely from his creation, man will induce not heaven, but hell, the gilded inferno, the marbled purgatory. This American churning sea of desire, the place where we see man for what he truly is, and recoil in horror. He is the destroyer of all, of nature, of course, of his brothers, seemingly as sport, and finally of himself. There's a lot of this fucking book, Jesus Christ. Men are fixated on greed, on desire, and on the acquisition not of experiences or pleasure, but the ability to acquire. People are fixated on wealth. Man is reduced to the desire for desire. Wanting is all that matters. Not loving, not being, not having, but wanting. We are killers for desire. Even sport would be preferable. This is the grand sickness, the eternal sickness of this land. It is man unleashed. Man unleashed and turned into he knows not what. For inside he is nothing, so all that moves him, all that he understands, is the external, the great churning sea of desire. It is not freedom. It is an impression of freedom for people who have not the capacity to see further. And why can they not see further? Because they have not been taught to see. If you wish for men to truly be free, if that is the nation's promise and not merely a sales pitch for snake oil, then we must first teach ourselves, and then our fellows, to see the glory. The glory in death. Yes, of course, in life, but also in death. I realize that idea is abhorrent. I realize it is vulgar and distasteful. I realize it is perverse, but it is also the truth. As I traveled through Manhattan, from the migrant slums to the Lower East Side to the marble-clad mansions by the Central Park, I came to appreciate a hideous truth. The system that allows poverty and degradation such as I saw is wrong, and the impacts of the degradation on humanity are profound. But far worse is the impact of wealth upon those who possess it and possessed by it.
Always about your needs, isn't it? I have never known a woman with so many needs.
You don't know the first thing about a woman's needs.
How selfish are you? Are you even aware of the price on my head? The pressures I'm under?
If you'd only talk to me, I could help. I want to help you, Dutch, but there's this wall.
You can help by leaving me alone so I can actually think for once.
You're a bastard, Dutch Vanderland.
To be removed from humanity, to live as a prisoner in a marble gaol, to be isolated from humanity in such a manner is so profoundly anti-American as to make the whole concept of this nation an absurdity, even worse than our treatment of the people of color. Manhattan, at once, depraves the poor and dehumanizes the rich. Its purpose is unhappiness, the nurturing and blooming of suffering. And this, we are informed, is the high point of American society. Nonsense. This is nonsense. American nonsense, yes, but nonsensical deceptions nonetheless. The real America can only be found not in desire, but in the purity of its landscape. This was wrote by Everett Miller. It's interesting how you can very much see how that informs Dutch's worldview. We're going to go over here while they sing. You can very much see how that informs Dutch's worldview. Yet, evidently, with that argument, with those arguments we're hearing with Molly, Dutch may not be as free from the sin of desire as he thinks he is. It's also interesting that Molly chastises Dutch for not talking to people, and talking to her specifically, yet whenever we try to talk to her about our concerns with her, she puts up this wall with us. A lot of hypocrites going on right now, if I'm honest. Sean and Uncle having a party. Is that Javier or John?
Hey, Javier. Hello, Arthur. Everything good?
I guess.
But his brother, whom my father hated with an almighty passion, he'd beat the slaves almost nightly. Whip them. Rape them. One night, my father was getting a whooping for the crime of being born by this horrible bastard when his sister-in-law, the master's wife, walks in. Now, fearing for my father's life, she told her brother-in-law to stop. Well, not only did he not stop, he beat her too. Next day, his brother, the master, shot him dead. The whole plantation cheered. The master gave my father his dead brother's watch and told him as he did so, time will catch up with us all. A year later, he set them free and hanged himself the very next night. My father gave me that watch. Beautiful, big pocket watch it was. And now, I've gone and lost it fleeing Blackwater. When I get some spare money, I'ma buy myself another one to honor both my father and them folks that saved his life.
We have this from the raid.
Picked up this. Heard you talking about losing the one your pa gave you.
Well, that is mighty kind.
We literally got that from the bank job we just did with Lenny.
Hello, Javier.
Good work on that bank job.
Loved every minute.
There'll be plenty more where that came from.
Alright, let's go see what Hosea was wanting. How's the camp doing? Oh, no, there's one more thing I want to do. There is a lot in this game. It's makes it great for streaming because there's always something to talk about. We could do side quests and we get a stream out of that. We could do main quests, we get a stream out of that. We could spend 20 minutes walking around this camp and we could get a stream out of that. You know, there is always something. Again, can't help but notice, look at the only name that's not on this list. Dutch has never once donated. If I was part of a group, I would expect the leader to donate. You've purchased a boat for the camp. Kieran will like this. We got someone to actually put the horses now. The camp is stationed. Recall your main horse to the camp or access stabled horses quickly. And that'll make Kieran happy because, you know, he likes his horses. And Pearson's stew has gotten better because our chickens are doing better. I enjoy your narration and putting out the threads and details. Thank you, lovely scientist. That means a lot. I enjoy you all being here. I am nothing without an audience. Let's contribute some money. We'll give money. Let's get us $500 richer as a camp. Because no matter what, we'll do 600. No matter what happens, the camp gets its share. Oh, hey, Dutch.
Good morning, Arthur. You heard about the bank in Valentine?
Yeah, sounds like it went very well. Good work, Arthur.
Oh, Bill, Karen, and Lenny put it together.
Yeah, I was just to hit the hired gun there.
Alright, well, I should be getting on.
See, these are things about Arthur I like, where he could take full credit with his dad, effectively, for that job, but he's like, I was just, it was the others, they did it.
You did good in Valentine.
Told you it'd be a good score.
Yep, you were right. Okay, well, let's talk more later.
All right, Morgan.
Ooh, let's talk to Strauss.
Talk to Lenny.
Ah, okay.
Got some weapons you could sell. Well, I should get back to it.
Take care, Arthur.
Well.
Good morning, Arthur.
Where did he come from?
Yes.
No. He just wandered in. Hi, my friend. Hi.
Hello.
And he's ours, I guess. For now.
Aww. That's so great. Hey, boy. Hey, boy. Aww. What should we call him?
Well, he's a wanderer. He probably did something bad. Kane. His name is Kane.
Okay. Hey, Kane. Whoa. What did Kane do?
A real bad thing.
Taking that lawman outfit a bit serious, are you?
I guess we have a dog now.
My lady.
Go on, Jack.
Watch the wind doesn't change.
Oh, shut up, Arthur.
You're gonna have to look after him.
I will.
And make sure you don't get into the food. Anyway, I won't disturb you.
I guess we have a dog now. That was nice. That was a lovely little moment.
Hello, ladies.
Good morning, Arthur.
I know you like a good cup of coffee.
Nothing better.
Hey there. You managing not to kill Pearson?
Hey, can you leave me alone?
What the fuck, Abigail?
Oh, sorry. My mind was elsewhere.
Yes, I know this game.
Anything dark and bitter suits you just right.
What are you trying to do?
Not much better.
I'm only kidding
That's
around.
no good. Are you Jack's age?
You gonna get up? You were snoring, that's all.
What?
Hello, Tilly.
Good
Arthur
morning,
just fucking burning the bridges with all the women this morning.
You got a guilty look.
This ain't funny.
Okay. You're up to something, Miss Jackson.
Yes. See you later.
I just want a cup of coffee, guys.
Hey, Karen.
Like, everyone's yelling at me. I just want a coffee.
Morning, Arthur.
Hi, Mary Beth. So, you ain't bored of this?
It's like working in the office all over again.
All things considered, it ain't that bad.
Sounds good.
They have been glitching a bit. They're snapping up and down. Again, little character details. Look how like, for example, look who's awake versus look who's asleep. You know, most of the campers awake, but Bill, it seems, and Karen are still asleep.
Here we are, another day older.
And definitely not wiser.
I love little shit like that. Hey, Pearson.
Hello. Why don't you sit, Arthur?
Would love to, but Hosea has a job for me.
There she is.
Arthur.
Come on, Nightingale.
Get out of here, you damn parasite!
Hey! Well, we had a dog.
Hey, cut that out.
I despise that dog.
What is wrong with you? Okay, I'll catch you later then. Sheriff. Hey, Jack.
How do you?
Morning, mister.
Morning, Kieran.
You okay? Where's my money? Where is it?
What do you mean?
Morning to you.
Oh, look, it's Sheriff Morgan.
Hi, Chorus. Welcome to the stream. How are you doing, my lovely? Alright. That was a weird interaction, but let's go see what Hosea wanted. It's Hosea and John. I've been wondering where you two were.
Hey, Arthur. What are you doing?
Selling it back to where it came from.
Why?
I ain't got a market for it. They made it. They must have someone to sell it to. Stuff look kind of lonely out here. I think we'll cut ourselves a deal.
I get you.
You and Dutch was just doing your duty when you requisitioned it. Now I'm doing mine.
All right. I should get going now.
Bye, John.
I'll leave you fellas to it. Good luck.
Thank you, John. We'll see you later.
Well, I appreciate you dropping by, Chorus.
To do with the Braithwaite horses, I think.
Sure, okay.
Okay, let's head out to the Braithwaite's place.
I wonder what John and Hosea spoke about.
I've been there. So what exactly are we doing? This is the moonshine we took after blowing up the Braithwaite still, right?
I think the good citizens taking the trouble to return their stolen goods deserve some reward, don't you? And it's time we made a formal introduction, like Dutch told us. Look, these are two big old plantation houses, and all I keep hearing is they hate each other so much they can't see past it.
I know. I've seen it. There's a gray boy and a Braithwaite girl carrying on a secret affair. I've been, well, helping them.
The mind boggles. You think they're of use?
Not sure. They don't seem too involved in the rest of it, but maybe.
Well, I'm sure there's money in this for us somewhere if we can get in the middle of it.
This is based on a real house. In fact, this is based off of a shot from Django Unchained. Which is not a good movie. But look at the framing of this composition. Your big old trees and your arch. Like, it's very much designed to instill power.
Modest little homestead, isn't it?
It's...
Gentlemen, how are you? What's that in the back there? Moonshine, my fine fellow. May I have a word with the man of the house?
The man of the house is a lady. Mrs. Catherine Braithwaite.
May I speak with her? I want to discuss a business opportunity. I mean no harm. No harm at all. You may happily shoot me if I do.
Okay. She's at the house.
I will say, the Braithwaites are more courteous than the Greys.
We'll be watching you.
You heard the man. Driver, proceed, please.
Like, the Greys went to shoot us immediately. The Braithwaites are a little more passive, it seems.
What you want? Found something. Out in the hills. Thought maybe you was in the market for it.
For what?
Some liquor.
I ain't in the market for what's already mine.
The way we see it, it's ours. Well, with us possessing it, and I checked all over. For the life of me, I couldn't see your name on it.
Oh, that's a lot of boys.
I ain't here to rob you. No, it seems that's easy enough. Why not do a deal? What do you sell that stuff for?
$1 a bottle?
Give us 50 cents.
It's already ours.
Well, look on it as a reward for finding the property. Alternative is we go sell it someplace else.
The alternative is you get shot.
Now, who wants to get shot over a bottle or two of liquor?
Pay the man.
50 cents a bottle is pretty high. I would have gone 25.
Pleasure doing business with you. And listen, we didn't take it. At least not without orders from...
Oh, I know exactly who gave you your orders. Old Sheriff Gray. You know what? I don't want it. In fact, sir, now you can do me a favor. There's an extra $10 if you do. Drive the stuff into Rhodes, head over to the tavern run by Mr. Gray, and give the stuff out for free.
Mama!
Hush now. I believe they call that a promotional expense.
As you wish, madam.
You boys come back sometime and tell me how you made out. Maybe we'll play a little cribbage.
Someone has the hots for Hosea.
The Rhodes Saloon.
Here we go.
It's a good business strategy. Piss off the Greys, even Greys steal from them.
Those Cornwall bonds got close to 1,000 for them. I wanted more, but not bad considering how hot they were.
The Greys steal from them, so they steal business from the Greys.
Oh, not bad at all.
Apparently, Cornwall's been pumping a lot of cash into the Pinkertons. Wants to keep their full effort on going after gangs. Gangs like us.
Yeah. That don't surprise me.
To be fair, I understand why Catherine's got the hots for Hosea. Like, look at him.
You and Dutch already have that thing going on in town with the sheriff.
Yeah, Mr. Gray.
That's it. Now we're inserting ourselves in his blood feud.
Arthur shouldn't be doing this.
I ain't playing Jesse.
John should be doing this.
How I feel about that.
Of course you're not. You're a clown's idiot brother.
Hosea, please.
I'm the clown. You're the idiot. Just look sad and keep quiet. Even you can do that, Arthur.
Well, I have to.
You took my hat.
Put this hat on. Smoke this pipe. Bring your lip forward. Just a bit. Squint. Oh, perfect.
What about you?
Oh, shh. You can't speak. You're turned idiot. Right? Broke poor Mammy's heart. There. Fenton, there. Don't get mad now.
What was that saying that Arthur wrote about Hosea? The man is a genius of nonsense. But again, Arthur shouldn't be doing this. This should be John. John and Hosea should run the Braithwaites, and Arthur and Dutch should run the Greys. And then divide the gang accordingly. But with Arthur being inserted into everything, and I know that's partly because he's the protagonist, it creates these unnecessary situations where it's flagrantly obvious that we're playing both sides.
For Mama, she loved you so. Just a shame you had to strangle her in a rage, right? Grab 2 cases of that stuff and follow me.
In fact, Hosea's known by the Greys as well, so this should be someone else entirely. Maybe Reverend Swanson.
Gentlemen! Quite the town you have here. We just rode in from up north. Hey. Hello! Hello, I'm Melvin. This is my brother Fenton. Don't mind him, don't madden him. He's turned idiot. Killed our mother, but it weren't his fault. How'd you boys like a couple of bucks? I bet you would. One for each of you. We're in the new trade of advertising, which is an American art form about ensuring people buy the correct things.
I don't know.
$1 more. Says give us half an hour. What harm can we do in half an hour? Go along now. Enjoy the money. Come along, Fenton. Let's hand out the liquor.
They know who we are, Hosea. These people know us. What are we doing?
Gentlemen! My name is Melvin. That's my brother Fenton. He's a bit funny, but boy, can he pour drinks fast. For the next 30 minutes, the drinks in this here bar, in this here town, are entirely free. The only rule is that you gotta drink them. So hurry up, put old Fenton to work. Don't get him mad, though. His mama made him mad, and we buried her. Poor thing. Now come up to the bar, everybody. Come on, fellas, it's your lucky day.
I'll have one, Fenton.
A gift. Bounty. It's a sin to look a gift horse.
Oh, I have to manually do it? Okay.
Keep them coming. See, we'll catch us all. So drink up.
Mr. Gray won't be happy about this.
Another round, Fenton. These men are dry. Don't be shy, boys. Where's mine then?
I don't know, imagine you can do... Hosea can definitely do a lot of harm in half an hour.
Don't listen to your brother. Over here, Fenton.
Also, we were definitely in there longer than half an hour. People drink a lot when they've got half an hour. Half an hour of free drinks?
Good evening, gentlemen. Quiet libation?
You.
Me?
You're the bastards who stole the liquor we was gonna buy.
Joe, we're in advertising. Come on in and have a drink.
That's our goddamn liquor.
An honest mistake.
Boys, get him.
Hey, I know what I could drink in half an hour too. Oh shit.
Think you can steal from us? You're dead men. You was put up on all sides. Shoot this
You son of a bitch.
fight will be your last.
I can't get a shot. Okay, that definitely went through Hosea's head, but we'll just ignore that that's what happened. God, they are kicking my ass. I got pincer movement by the fucking Lemoy Raiders. See, this is why we should always bring a bigger gun.
Get upstairs quick. I see more of them. Arthur! Do something, Arthur! Shoot this bastard!
Hosea fucking died. See, I'm good at the story part of this game. I'm not necessarily that good at the shooting part. Yeah, Hosea got yeeted over the thing. That's why we failed. Blam indeed. Hosea, do you not have a gun? Because it'd be great if you picked one up to help.
Let's go.
I've actually never seen Hosea shoot anyone. Let me out.
That won't work.
God damn it. Hope you all enjoyed your free liquor. I guess Hosea is just not really. We should have brought more guns.
Got more coming after us.
I see them.
Well, good shot. Behind us, Arthur, coming out of the alley.
I got him.
That's it.
Man, we're good shots.
Right ahead of you.
Where's Sadie when we need her? But I thought the Lemoy Raiders worked for the Braithwaites. And we're doing this for the Braithwaites.
I see it. Think you can steal from us? There's more to your
There we go.
Look out, more of them.
Whew.
See any more of them?
Don't think so.
Good shooting, Tex.
Jesus, all this over a few bottles of booze?
I reckon it's more they don't want another gang on their patch. Ah.
Okay. Pull off the road here.
It is interesting that we've never seen Hosea shoot. Like, we know he can. He's got a pretty impressive gun on him. He just chooses not to. I mean, he's getting older. I guess you hit a point where...
Remind me never to take up a career. What was it?
Advertising.
You think that woman set us up?
No, I don't think so.
The day Hosea Matthews stopped shooting.
Maybe. This place is odd.
I keep seeing those fellas.
Some local militia. Clearly not too happy to have some new competition. I'll go visit old Ma Braithwaite. See what's what.
Why?
We've been making money. The chest is filling up again, slowly but surely. Part of me thinks we just get ourselves good and lost. But we still need a lot more money before that can happen.
Oh,
So,
Hosea,
for
yes.
now,
I can see why
let me
Catherine
go
Braithwaite
give
has the
old
hots
Mrs.
for you.
Braithwaite some of this moonshine as, well, let's call it a peace offering.
Sure.
That was fun, Fenton. We'll make an actor of you yet.
I'll go speak to Dutch.
Let him know that shit's hitting the fan and maybe we should leave.
So, what do you think?
Hello, Micah.
What?
Fine folks around these parts.
Oh, real nice.
Exactly. On the one side, we have got the Gray family. Scots, degenerates, drunkards, the local law. You couldn't make this stuff up. Rich as Croesus. And on the other, their mortal enemies, the Braithwaites. Moonshiners, hypocritical, both rolling, we believe.
In gold.
And in the middle of it all, you got some inbred retelling of Romeo and Juliet.
Exactly.
So what you boys thinking?
We try to rob them both.
You sure?
Why not?
Because we got lawmen in 3 different states after us.
Last thing I want is to get us into trouble, but we need money. Now, we have the opportunity here to put ourselves in the middle of something ain't nobody gonna know we was here, because even without us, these fools are gonna kill each other anyway.
Okay, well, Hosea's gone back to see that Braithwaite woman.
Good. Hosea should definitely take the lead on this. I sent Sean over to Braithwaite Manor, too. Now, you can meet up with them, or join John and Javier at the Gray's place. Something to do with the Braithwaites' prize horses.
Well, how the hell did we get in at the Gray's place?
Sheriff Gray kindly put in a word with his father. It ain't that complicated. We gotta convince each family that we're on their side, and then we rob them both. Before they figure out it was us that done it, and not the other lot, we'll be long gone. Think of it as payback for my daddy.
Payback. I ain't in the revenge business, Dutch.
Revenge is a luxury we can't often afford. Dutch van der Linde, the first chapter.
Least of all for something happened a long time ago.
Well, I guess we all gotta pay for something. Now, if you will excuse me, Arthur, I got to write a letter.
That framing, the fact that Micah was put directly in our line of sight afterwards, we are encouraged to go and talk to him.
Evening.
Arthur.
Working hard as ever?
I make the money, not wash the clothes.
Yeah, you keep telling yourself that.
Okay.
Like, Dutch has a very clear hatred of Southerners. because of the Civil War. And but like that there was little things in that performance there, like the way you can tell that Arthur is losing faith in Dutch. I don't think even Arthur quite realizes it, but like the way he brushes his hand off his shoulder, and just the way these two talk to each other, they rapidly switch between like loving and caring and not rivalry, but definitely like they're button heads. And it was interesting that that scene began with Micah in the framing too. I feel like it's kind of implying that Micah was the one who finally floated the idea over to Dutch, being like, we rob them both. And Micah doesn't always have the best interests of the group at heart.
Evening. Don't know what we're gonna do with you.
Micah wants to make his...
Fuck up. It's gonna be alright.
Micah's main goal is to make as much money as possible. And damn the rest. And, ooh, he's being weird to Karen.
I know what you're thinking.
I ain't thinking much.
Drunken idiot, that's what you're thinking.
I got bigger problems to worry about.
Have you, Arthur? Have you? That's nice. Good for you. Good for you.
But Karen, don't do this to yourself. Please.
No, of course
You got a choice.
You're not that sure. I got a choice. That's nice.
Very funny.
So that was interesting. There was something else going on there. I was watching that. Micah asked Mary Beth to dance. Mary Beth being the kind of
Always good to see you.
prize girl of the camp, it seems. And she refused. Gave him a nice excuse, as she doesn't do dancing. His response was, I'm not a monster. And her response was, no, you're not. You're not that interesting.
Oh, Driscoll boy. Mister. Keep your mouth shut, and you might survive the week.
Hey, come on.
Just know we're watching you.
Part of me feels like Micah is looking for a connection with someone. And then he just very, very quietly disappears back into the side of the camp. Part of me thinks Micah is genuinely looking for a connection, but he doesn't seem to know how to talk to people. Like, this is new to him. He's talking about in the first chapter how he thinks the gang's too big and bloated, and his ideal version of the gang is like a few, like 4 or 5 good men.
I got drunk. Hey there.
Missed the boat. I mean, literally missed the boat. Yeah. By the time I got to the docks, it was gone.
Happens. It happens.
Yeah, boy.
Mary Beth.
Hi.
So, still glad you fell in with this bunch?
I think so. Most of the time.
They're not so bad.
Okay, then.
I like quiet nights like this at camp where everyone has their own little place.
Hey, Tilly.
Hello, Arthur.
You feeling more settled here now?
Yes, this is a nice spot. Okay, Tilly?
Well, it'll do us for now.
Okay.
Bit worried about Karen. This is a nice, peaceful night at camp. Hey, Charles.
Hey there, Charles.
You okay, Arthur?
You still glad you joined up with us?
Of course.
Well, we're glad to have you.
Thanks, Arthur.
Hey, Reverend.
Hey, get up.
What is it?
It's nothing.
Who is... Let me sleep.
I Again, there's things that concern me. You know, Molly doesn't talk to people. Reverend Swanson seems to be isolating himself more and more from the people around him.
You awake?
Why are you waking me up?
Sorry, Karen.
Hey,
Hello, Mr. Morgan.
need any supplies?
Always. Can never have too much.
Alright, see what I can do.
I should do some work.
Don't mind. Be fast and far tonight. 100 months was flowery May. But up that hilly slope we climb.
We never see Dutch sleep.
Hey, folks.
Hello, Arthur.
Hello.
You good?
Just can't seem to get a moment's peace.
You seem miles away.
I'm fine.
Anyway, not my business, I guess.
Okay.
So what are you doing all that time you spend staring off into space?
I'm just impressed you're stringing entire sentences together.
Calm down.
Well, you certainly don't get any less strange.
Gonna read your mail, guys. Don't mind me. Oh no, that's Molly's poem again. Hey, Uncle.
There he is. Woo, Arthur! Well, at least you're a happy drunk.
Happiness is important, Arthur.
I think one of my favorite things is Mary Beth and Tilly's friendship. They seem like them and Jack seem like some of the most pure members of the group. You know? I want to protect them.
Damn horse.
Better go lie down.
Retrieve Nightingale. Alright. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's head out of camp. Who should we go help? Should we go help Javier and John at the Greys? Or should we help Hosea and Sean at the Braithwaites?
Drink.
He's a bit close to camp. Howdy, stranger.
Oh, hey there. Why don't you join me and have a seat over here by the fire? Oh. By the fire.
Okay. Let's just see if we can kind of encourage him to leave.
Bone dry. Sins I'm carrying around.
Old Lady Braithwaite is a curious old character.
But
She is.
If I had a little whiskey to loosen up my tongue a little, I might tell you.
Alright.
Here.
Could get something out of this.
Only fitting that I'd be drinking the devil's brew. I'll be seeing him soon enough.
Jesus, mate. You want a fucking mixer with that? That's straight bourbon.
You're a place called Four Rigs? South of Strawberry. Kept Indians penned in there like cattle.
I think we actually have heard of a place called Fort Riggs. Hang on. There's Riggs Station. There's Fort Riggs. Yeah, we've been there before.
I ain't know what's worse. Seeing the ones we killed or watching the other ones die. The slow way.
Again, this kind of...
Pretty well. Them government boys?
There's this theme of looking at the past and
don't last long.
with either pride, reverence, or regret.
It's what you did. Sticks around.
I know the feeling.
I was the young man then, but I still see them faces clear as yesterday. I do.
Again, we got another example of that.
Well, that's hard, partner.
We got another example of that with this guy and Dutch.
Very sleepy all of a sudden.
Dutch justifying the war with the Greys and the Braithwaites by effectively going like, yeah, you know, they killed my dad. Just want to check something. So Dutch has a mission for us too. Dutch asked you to find out more about the bounty hunters that Trelawney mentioned. Lemoyne. I want to check something real quick. I want to see if it means anything. No, it just links back to here. It means the monk and is a common French surname. And is based on the state of Louisiana. Sometimes games do that, sometimes they don't. Did we just fail at getting off our horse? The Braithwaite Manor. No trespassing, no hunting on this property. Violators will be prosecuted in accordance with the law.
Yep.
The law that's maintained by the Greys.
Here.
The monk. I'm not sure what, if that's trying to say anything. I'm sure you could probably draw a conclusion, but I'm struggling, I won't lie. Howdy.
Hey there, mister. Hey, fellas. I have a meeting with Mrs. Braithwaite. My associates are already here.
All right, that's enough. Move along now.
Thank you. Do they have anywhere I can hitch my horse, or is it just the kind of leave him here thing? It's a leave him here thing.
Please come in, sir.
Thank you. The fine joys of tobacco.
Sir. A gentleman to see you, ma'am.
So, your friend, the other liquor vendor. Hello.
Hello, ma'am.
Arthur, welcome. We were just playing cribbage. Arthur Morgan, Mrs. Catherine Braithwaite.
Nice to see you again.
Apparently. So this one, he is big and as dumb as he looks?
Oh, yeah.
Well, he's surely big, but
I always wonder how names are chosen for characters. Yeah. There's always, you know, you can always from my experience at least, when I name characters, you can always, lean more on mythology and more on history and stuff like that. So I just got a very, very interesting spam email. You can always lean on, mythology and history and that and name meaning, but which I have done for a fair few characters in the past. But also, like, sometimes a name just comes to you, I found. Like, you'll be thinking about a character, and then, you'll be like, I don't know, this or that or this or Arthur. Like, if we think about, like, the name Arthur, Celtic in origin means bear or king. In fact, Arthur's name is a clear reference to the legend of King Arthur. Well, because we have, like, King Arthur and the Morrigan. Which I think is supposed to invoke the idea that although we aren't King Arthur, Dutch is King Arthur, and we're his Knights of the Round Table. Bill, Javier, John, Hosea, Arthur, Lenny. How many Knights of the Round? I mean, there was like 150 Knights of the Round Table, but how many? How many knights are there traditionally? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, including Arthur, King Arthur. So we have Dutch, Hosea, Arthur, John, Bill, Micah, Lenny, Charles, Javier, Sean. It's about the same amount. Micah Bell. For example, as well. Micah. Micah's name is an old Hebrew name that means who is like God, and is from the book of Micah. Just checking something. Micah is the name of a prophet who at one point in Micah 7:6 warns of internal family threats. A man's enemy are the men of his own house, often can be translated into various alternatives, such as a more modern version, which says your worst enemy will be your own family. See, this is one of the reasons why I don't trust Micah. Because Micah also frequently is one of the members of the gang who refers to the gang as family. Also, the other important thing about the Morrigan is, and Morgan Le Fay, is that she is of complex nature. She is both a hero and a villain in the story of King Arthur. Everyone's name has an interesting route of origin. It seems. No one is named for no reason. Hosea Matthews. I'm using the Red Dead wiki for this, by the way, but I'm skipping all the spoilery parts. Hosea Matthews is he who saves. Molly doesn't have anything for her name. What about Dutch? Dutch's name doesn't seem to have any special connotations. Sadie. Princess. Which is actually something that Arthur calls her a lot. See, I feel like with Sadie's name, it's supposed to be, Sadie Adler is supposed to be, calling upon the idea of Irene Adler.
Since it's a matter of some conjecture, some say he is as dumb as he looks, but I think, well, he's not quite that dumb.
So these are the boys going to Gallagher Hall?
Yes, we can take care of that for you, but one hates to be coarse. There is the question of money.
Oh, we've got money, Mr. Matthews.
Paper, bonds, metal.
She ain't gonna pay you in a certified check, you Yankee numbskull.
Ain't childbirth just the most beautiful miracle? Seems a lady can birth monkeys, after all.
Hosea doesn't take no shit.
Can I drive?
Nope.
I mean, honestly, he can drive if he wants to. I'd rather just sit around and talk.
Ready? Let's get out of here. You was quiet in there.
Took everything I had. That son of hers. I'll shove that silver spoon down his throat and pull it clean out of his arse. The smug fucker.
Okay. So what she got us doing at the Gray's place?
She wants us to torture tobacco fields. Said they ain't had rain in weeks round here.
What?
Yikes.
That back there.
Moonshine?
Burns faster than kerosene, that stuff. Said it'd be fitting, she did. All I'm thinking is how about I try fitting my boot up your hook now, just snotty old bitch.
Hosea really picked the right fella for tea at the manor, didn't he?
Ah, he was giving it his usual flannin'. One of these families got gold stashed somewhere, he reckons. I mean, I'm all for sticking it to rich folks. I hate rich folks. There really better be some bloody money at the end of all this.
Hosea knows what he's doing.
Does he, though? The master finagler of nothing.
Easy, easy.
What's your place, Sean?
Destroyed the Braithwaite still. Tried to sell the shine back to them. Now we're on this fool's errand, which I'm very much looking forward to, by the way. They was saying old man Gray's double security after that business at the saloon.
So, we're just gonna drive on in there, is that it?
Don't worry, I got a plan. Wagons go in and out of there all the time with supplies, equipment, payroll. Especially now they've taken on all that extra muscle. We're making a delivery, that's all. Just leave it to me. I can talk a dog.
I feel like Sean is what Micah tries to present himself as. You know? Like, Sean is, to my understanding, relatively new to the group. And he's a bit full on. He definitely wants to impress both him and Lenny. But he acts in such a way where, you know, like, he openly criticizes Hosea, but the people don't yell at him. They're just like, you know, mind your place, Sean. Like, Hosea's, you know, still one of the leaders of the gang. And Sean shuts the fuck up. He chats shit and he rubes with people, but they always take it back and they give it to him just as much as he gives to them. But when Micah does it, no one likes it. And I think that's because Sean is what Micah is trying to be. But because he doesn't know how to interact with people, he doesn't know how to do it. Micah is also a horrible racist, from what I've seen. We got a plan. We haven't had any tale of luck in a while, but I think we very much found that the chapter of this theme is the idea of looking at the theme of this chapter is looking at the past and seeing either getting stuck there or moving on from it.
Hold up a second. You not worried about them greys, English? Excuse me? You not worried about them greys? In what sense? Well, they knows you.
Yeah, maybe you're right. You know what? Here, I'll go hiding back. If you can act naturally and
Someone talk sense.
into a fight before we're ready.
I will try.
Yes. Try and do an impression of a human being.
I'm not going to go that far.
But I think that one of the key differences is Sean can laugh at himself, whereas Micah can't. What's everyone's plans for the weekend? I've got a screening tomorrow for a short film my friend made. And I got to go to the gym because I didn't manage to go on Thursday.
What you want, boy?
There was a thing at the saloon.
What you talking about?
Well, I'm delivering the supplies.
You're not the usual driver.
You want a bottle, friend? Here. Have a wee drop. I'm new. I mean you no harm. I've come from Donegal, in Ireland.
You don't say.
Yeah. They said you'd understand some kind of incident at the saloon in town. I was told to bring this up here. Ask no questions, I'll tell you no lies. Sort of business. Before the officials got there, they said.
Okay. Drive this way. I'll show you how to get there.
Oh, thank you, friend. Have a drink, Sean.
Be home, do some home stuff. Yeah, I've got a screening on Saturday. I've got some video editing to do on Sunday.
Good to meet you, Hamish. Fine bit of country you've got here. Not as fine as Connemara, but fine nonetheless.
My people come from Scotland.
Is that right? And you and I are nearly brothers.
But at some point I'd like to sit down and just go through each character and we can just have a wee chat about them.
Yeah, and they said they was looking for more drivers in town. I jumped at the chance. I never been a feather to kick a bit of honest work out of bed. So, you folks been having a hard time of it, have you?
Yeah, Mr. Gray's got a heap of problems right now with another family around here. Bunch of covetous lowdowns trying to sabotage his livelihood. Disgusting.
Oh dear, I'm sorry to hear that, Hamish. Sounds like you definitely deserve that drink.
You don't know the half of it. Just in there.
Yeah, sit down and really just go through every character. Maybe not even on stream. Maybe we'll switch to just chatting for that. and we'll just have a wee chat about where everyone's at and where we're thinking everyone's at the moment.
In here? Oh, the horse is like a swift one, do they?
Excuse me?
Nothing. It's grand.
You can see my gun poking through the top of the thing.
Quite a place you boys have got here. Reminds me of one of them big houses out in Donegal. Real fancy places they was, Hamish. Real fancy. Because if some got all the money, they can build quite the fanciest places imaginable, While the average man sups on
I don't want to kill him.
Okay. You can hold up in here till it gets dark.
But, you know, apparently that's what we're doing. Like, I feel like we didn't need to kill the man, we just needed to knock him out.
Good. Nearly got these things ready.
Ooh, Molotovs. Arthur, you wear the same jacket and hat everywhere.
Here's how I feel we should deal with things. You head over to the dry barn.
Sure. And you?
I'm gonna deal with the fields themselves. We coat everything in moonshine, and then we light things up with these little fellers here. Thankfully, it ain't rained, and that old barn over there should go up like a torch.
How many of these boys you think you need?
This should do it. Let's head out the back. Look, once they get wind of us, there'll be no turning back, so move quickly.
Of course. I'm rebel stock, boy. I was born burning down manor houses.
We'll burn quietly.
Sean's definitely, I would argue, the little brother. Of the gang.
Oh, hey. Well, I thought the wagon already arrived.
This one didn't.
Strange. So, what you got there?
Tools, payroll.
Okay. Drop it by the supply shed at the back of the fields.
Sure. See you later.
Yeah, he's got that chipperness that everyone kind of likes.
Yeah. Let's get this job done first, okay?
Just let me deal with our friend here.
He's also got some eyes that are bigger than his stomach. And he calls Arthur his brother as well.
Come on. You douse the fields. I'll meet you at the barn.
Try to stay out of trouble.
This is just the same as the gasoline missions from GTA. There's a couple missions in GTA 5 where you have to douse the gasoline in places in gasoline.
Next.
Nope. Oh, this is a very, very classic Rockstar mission, to be honest. Oh boy, shit's going down. Yeah.
That's good for here.
Behold, Arthur Morgan and his unlimited moonshine.
That's good.
But if you could stop getting caught on the barrels, this would be great. Gonna chance it. Let's go. Ooh, we got close enough to hear him speak. We could hear the words leaving his mouth. Seriously, this is a big bottle of moonshine. Right, I think this is the last field. Meet Sean at the bar. I misread that as meet Sean at the bar. Which is honestly, I think, what everyone would rather be doing right now. Alright, so as we continue to sneak up here and just... There you are, Shawnee. I guess we're doing this with knives.
I'm gonna douse this too.
I'm gonna loot this grey.
Light her up. Got fireballs, right? Yeah. Now let's burn those bloody fields to the ground. You pay for this!
Alright, here we go.
Not right now. We got company. Look out!
Stay with me!
We're gonna come up behind them. I think I just shot one of the horses. I've learned something from the Lemoyne Raiders about pincer movements. I mean, this is obvious it's Arthur. But oh. I mean, it could also, I suppose, be assumed to be Lemoyne. The Lemoynes. But it is painfully obvious that it's Arthur. But remember how we weren't supposed to, like, draw attention to ourselves? Same hat and jacket. Exactly, but I think that's just because I didn't change. Like, I think we're under the presumption that Arthur would wear different clothes. This is just the disadvantage of protagonist clothing. Where are we going, Sean?
This is a goddamn mess. All right, come on, we'll take those horses.
Cut free.
Hurry up.
Oh boy, we did good, Morgan. We did good.
Great, well, let's go.
Come on, Sean, we gotta leave. Sean.
Okay, let's get the hell out of here.
Did we just get an actual yeehaw? A full-on authentic cowboy yeehaw?
We're going straight out the front gate.
Do you guys remember when Beau Gray immediately cottoned on to what we were doing and was like, listen, I know what you're doing. I don't give a shit, but I know. This is why I'm like, these guys aren't as slick as they think they are.
You call that a party?
That Braithwaite had got our money's worth, alright.
Let's just get out of here first.
I think we lost them.
That we did.
Quite a night.
Sure.
Interesting little fight Dutch has put us into the middle of here.
I hope him and Jose are right and that there's some money at the end of it.
Well, what now?
Head on back to camp.
You coming?
Yeah.
Sure.
And while we're at camp, pretty short. We'll switch over to just chatting and take some time, I think, to discuss the characters of the gang, of who we've kind of met so far.
Here we are. Home sweet home.
You let Hosea know how we got on.
Will do. Hey, you got any tobacco? I'm busting for the smoke.
Alright, chat. Give me a second and I'll just get this all set up as we switch back to just chatting. Activity, category, just chatting. Actually, no, we'll keep it on Red Dead Redemption 2. Even though we're not actively playing it at the moment. And then what I'll do is let me get a browser capture. We'll get an old 1920 by 1080 image going here. And we'll just work our way through the group, I think. The Vanderlind gang. And we'll just have a wee sit down and chat about the Vanderlinds, shall we? We'll start from Molly. And kind of work our way along. I don't know. I guess I'll just put it there, in the middle of us, chat. So first up, we have Miss Molly O'Shea. Irish name. So Molly is a rich Irish girl, born to a rich Irish background, who wanted a life of adventure. And as a result, ended up fleeing off to America and eventually, apparently, falling in with the Vanderlind gang. This screen composition doesn't really work. But there's nowhere else to really put her right now, so we're just gonna have to make do. There we go. So yeah, we have Molly, born into a wealthy family in Dublin. She came to the United States searching for adventure, eventually joining Dutch van der Linde and his gang at some point prior to 1899. She and Dutch later became lovers. I'm going to be using Rockstar's official descriptions of the characters to discuss them. A Dublin girl and the object of Dutch affection, for now at least, Molly is too high-strung for a life on the run, and it's all starting to take a toll on her. And I think we've seen that quite well. She's become distrustworthy, she's paranoid, she's yelled at Karen in the past for people talking behind her back. I'm worried about Molly, honestly. Molly seemingly kind of lived a imagined this life in a very certain way, and now that it's not meeting up to that standard, there is concern that she's not going to respond well to the change that is the gang's changing situation, because we can very much establish the gang is in a place of change at current. She keeps to herself. She wanted to talk to us about something, but when she tried, Arthur got swept away in another thing. So that quite frustrated me about Arthur. The one time this woman has reached out to us, and he's gone, I have better things to do than this. For those of you who are curious, the name Molly means bitter, and the name O'Shea means a savior or a deliverer. So Molly's name is a bitter savior or a bitter deliverer, which is kind of accurate right now. So who we got next? We got what do you guys think though about Molly, real quick? Do you guys have any opinions on the characters? Just, drop a thought in, let me know. She's paranoid everyone's turning against her, and she is convinced that Dutch is about to leave her. And Dutch doesn't seem to be doing very much to dissuade that. Next we got good old Kieran. So, Kieran Duffy doesn't have a Rockstar description. He is a supporting character featured in Red Dead Redemption 2. So, what do we know about Kieran so far? Kieran was, judging by his name, Kieran is Irish of descent. His father taught him to look after horses. We know that. And he, at some point or another, signed up with the O'Driscolls before we captured him and made his life a living hell for months. Eventually, he led us to where we thought Colm O'Driscoll was, the O'Driscolls being our biggest rivals because of personal reasons that we have discussed in the past are pretty shitty. And then he eventually, when we go there, Colm is not to be found. But Kieran saves us from being killed, and we kind of begrudgingly accept him into the gang. I say begrudgingly because we continue to make fun of him. And we continue to call him an O'Driscoll. Kieran's an interesting one because Kieran gives us a rare look at the group from an outsider's perspective. He has done things such as compare us to the O'Driscolls and say how we're not actually all that different, And Kieran's one of those characters who it's more interesting seems to see how other characters respond to him than it is necessarily to listen to him. For example, when Kieran compared us to the O'Driscolls, John got very defensive. He was like, yeah, but Dutch is a teacher. You don't understand what Dutch is doing here. And Kieran's like, well, from where I'm standing, Dutch and Colum aren't very different. But we have gradually seen Kieran fall in line with the group's thinking sometimes. There are still pieces of tension, like last stream we discovered that he basically can't leave camp because everyone will be like, oh, he's gonna betray us to Colum. But he can't stay in camp because otherwise people get mad at him for not pulling his weight. So he's in a very precarious situation where he continuously needs to prove his trust, but he's not given a position by us to prove that trust. There's also, he has an interesting relationship with Bill. Bill seems to very much like and not like Kieran. He seems to hate Kieran on the grounds of Kieran's an O'Driscoll, but he seems to like Kieran on the fact that there is a prevalent theory on the internet that Bill is gay. We'll discuss this more when we get to Bill. The names Kieran mean the name Kieran Duffy means black. Both of them mean black or black-haired or dark, according to these two sites. Duffy is a surname of Irish origin, meaning the descendant of grandson of Duthach was an old Irish first name meaning black. So Kieran means black. Little dark one or blacked hair. I mean, he's definitely little. We'll give him that. He's definitely a little member of the gang. And he does have black hair, so they're not entirely wrong. Reverend Swanson. Again, guys, we're just progressing up through the group. In kind of whatever order they are. Roxar's description of Reverend Swanson. A former clergyman, now lost to debauchery. Swanson has fallen a long way from the standards he once set himself and struggles with many demons. If he hadn't saved Dutch's life in the past, it's unlikely the gang would have kept him around for this long. Very, very classic kind of character, the priest who's fallen from grace. Eventually, evidently, he became an alcoholic. He engaged in, sex and debauchery, and he is a morphine addict. Swanson is an interesting character to me because he's the first character we've come across. Well, I suppose Kieran, but he's one of the major characters we've come across who really live in that theme of redemption. You have to remember, guys, the game is called Red Dead Redemption. The game is fundamentally about these people redeeming themselves to some extent. There is he's a broken and disheveled man. And it's a real shame to see, you know? He exists in such a way where he doesn't believe he is in control of his own actions. You know? I got yeeted. It's very sad with Swanson. You want to support Swanson, but he doesn't want to support himself, but he's also in a scenario where he doesn't get the support he needs. So it is very much one of those kind of back and forths. What was his comment in the first chapter? He said, "Have I been bad again, Mr. Morgan? I wish I was different." And it's like, it's very interesting, because he's not the only member of the gang who wishes he was different. Arthur wishes he was different. John wishes he was different. A lot of the gang have that mentality, but Swanson is the one who vocalizes it. Arthur calls himself a bad man. He doesn't want to be a bad man. He knows he is, though, or he thinks he is. A lot of the supporting cast, through their issues, vocalize problems within the gang. Molly is paranoid. Kieran has trouble truly integrating. Swanson wants to be different but feels like he can't be. And these are all problems that the more core members of the cast have themselves. The gang cannot integrate with society. They are constantly on the run, and don't have the ability to trust anyone outside of the group. A lot of them want to be different, they want to lead different lives, but feel like they can't. Orville, incidentally, means, Lovely Scientist, she put it great. He is helpless within his own life. Means Golden Town, and Swanson means the son of Swan. Naturally. Or herdsman. In English baby names, the meaning of Orville is spear or strength. So, Orville Swanson, strong herdsman. And as a priest is supposed to be a shepherd who leads people. And this is probably more of an ironic name, because Orville is not a strong person. He is not a strong leader. He can't even lead his own life, where he currently is. Moving on to the next member of the gang, we have the elusive Josiah Trelawney. A flamboyant conjurer and conman and trickster, Trelawney is a very hard man to pin down, but he is always able to bring up good leads. Trelawney is interesting. Trelawney is able to abandon the gang whenever he wants. He is the only character who can do that. he is allowed to go out into the world and live his own life, which is very interesting because, yeah, no one else is allowed to do that. But it works in the case of Trelawney because he is able to drum up leads for everyone. The name Trelawney is a misspelling, to my understanding, or a deviation of the name Trelawney, which means it's a Cornish name. An open or clean town. There's not a lot to say about Josiah Trelawney because we obviously don't get to see a lot of him, but he's very enigmatic, he's very elusive. And the name Josiah is Hebrew in origin. And what does it mean? God supports and heals. So, support. Supportful town, supporting character. You could, if you wanted to really be a bit of a pretentious English literature wanker about it, you could argue that Trelawney's name is supposed to mean something along the lines of supporter of the group. Where he's not a member of the group so much to say, but he is also... He's a close affiliate to us. He helps us out. He's flamboyant and sharp-tongued. And yeah. There's not a huge amount to say about Josiah Trelawney. His horse's name, incidentally, is Gwendolyn. Got to talk about the horses. The horses might be important too. Kieran's is Branwen. Gwendolyn is the name of a trickster deity of Welsh mythology, which is fitting given Trelawney's history as a swindler and a con man. Branwen, meanwhile, which is Kieran's horse, is the daughter, is an Irish character who the Legend of Branwen. The most beautiful maiden in the world. She's the daughter of Lara, the king of all Britons. Bran also means crow or raven. Woo! Oh, this is interesting. Okay, so the king. I have to dip. Thanks for the stream. I'll catch up this part of the names later. Go Crows. Okie dokie. I'm just trying to have fun, lovely scientist. So, in the Legend of Branwen, King Bran saw a ship approaching which was led by Maltwith, the King of Ireland, in a sign of peace. He'd come to ask for Bran's sister's hand in marriage and bring about an alliance between Britain and Ireland. An alliance between Britain and Ireland. Dutch is Scottish. Colum is Irish. This is Kieran's horse we're talking about here, even though we have Trelawney on the screen. The two kings agreed to the arrangement, and the ceremony took place with a feast underneath a large canopy of silks that Bran, being a giant, could enter. Angry about not being consulted about the marriage, his half-sister Branwen took his revenge out on Moloch's horse and maimed them with his sword. Upon learning what she had done, the king became greatly insulted and set out to return to Ireland. But before he could leave, Bran offered to replace each of the horses with new ones, and he also offered a silver rod as thick as his little finger and a gold plate as large as his face. The king of Ireland took the offering, though he still felt hurt from the insults. Bran then offered an additional gift, a magic cauldron which could heal the injured and resurrect the dead. But those who went in the cauldron were no longer able to speak. The next day, Branwen and the Irish king journeyed back to Ireland, and when they arrived, were given a warm welcome. People gave Branwen many pieces of beautiful jewellery. Within the year, Branwen became pregnant and birthed a son named Geraint. It was not long after the birth that the King of Ireland learnt of the horrible acts performed against him. They could not forgive or forget the insult and demanded their king take revenge. Oh, his council, sorry. Giving in to his people's demands, he sent Branwen to the castle kitchen where she would work and sleep. She was made to prepare and serve meals for the court and was often beaten by the butcher. You could look at this as Kieran being trapped by the Vandalins. To stop any word of this punishment getting to Branwen's family, any travel between Ireland and Wales was forbidden. Any Welsh visitors were also to be imprisoned so that they could not tell Bran about the fate of his sister. Again, imprisonment, Kieran. Poor Branwen suffered for years until one day a bird, a starling, flew into the kitchen and roosted near her. She fed the bird bread every day and befriended it. She taught it of her brother Bran and where he lived. Eventually, she gave the bird a letter to send to him, with a message of how she had been cruelly treated. And there's a whole story. So it very much seems to be a story, the story of Branwen is a story of being trapped and the effects that has, of going between two rival factions who were at one point friends, which is very accurate considering the story that Kieran has. Now we get on to the interesting characters, I would argue. The first, majorly interesting character at least, who is Leopold Strauss. Again, doesn't have a background, but I'll just kind of give the basic details of him. He is an Austrian man who works as a bookkeeper and a loan shark. And this is interesting for the gang because the gang was originally founded with the principle of helping the poor. Steal from the rich, give to the poor. Robin Hood types. But Leopold Strauss he breaks that belief completely. He steals from the poor and gives to the poor and steals from the poor. He is he is not a nice man. He is a money-obsessed man, very much like the rest of the gang. There's honestly, again, not a huge amount to say about him. He represents probably the gang at its lowest point, though, where they have betrayed their ideals and are now just about making money. Leopold's name is apparently the name Leopold is the first part means people and the second part meaning brave. Brave people. Fairly obvious, that one. And Strauss means a nickname for an awkward or belligerent person. Again, that's one of those cases where you have a name which is slightly ironic, where you have the first half of his name means brave person, and the second half of his name means annoying, awkward person. So, again, that's some good naming by Rockstar, with some ironic naming there. He has a horse, but there's no immediate comment, like it's not a specific horse. He just has a Shire horse. And yeah, Leopold Strauss really represents the gang at its lowest point, I think. Next we have Mr. Pearson. Pearson is the camp's cook. He's a former Navy man. And he's living a lie. The main things we know about Pearson is that he is living a lie. He writes to his, I believe his aunt, and effectively has this idea. He presents himself as this man who is traveling America, you know, making a name for himself and not getting married, but having no shortage of suitors. But as we know, he is traveling America. He's not telling that lie, but it's not exactly in the way he presents. Pearson's a good man, though. I think he speaks to the group's core. His goal is to keep people fed and keep people happy. His name means listening, and the son of Pierre. So he's a listening man. Again, it's him and Grimshaw are kind of the two real representatives of the group to some extent. We'll throw Grimshaw on screen as well. You know, Grimshaw keeps the group alive, effectively. When it comes to Grimshaw, the undisputed boss and arbiter of justice in the camp. Everything would have fallen apart years ago without Susan in charge. Tenacious and iron-willed, she stands for no nonsense. She is one of the founding members of the gang. That very rarely gets discussed. It's her, Hosea, Dutch, and Arthur and John are the founders of the gang. She is the gang's arbiter, as it's described. The mayor, effectively. She runs camp, while Hosea and Dutch run the gang. Susan runs the campsite, which is why I've lumped her in with Pearson here. She's not very well liked, though. She is quite aggressive to the people around her. It's quite interesting that she doesn't really have friends. She's very much being that kind of character trait of the evil headmistress or the wicked stepmother to some extent. And her name, incidentally, means Lily Goblin. Which, again, is, I think, supposed to be a bit of a joke at her expense. God, we have so many characters to go through. So we're just going to kind of hit with some immediate notes. If I have anything in particular I want to talk about with these characters, I will highlight it, okay? Abigail Marston. Formerly Abigail Roberts. Former prostitute who joined up with the gang at some point. That's not the image I wanted, but you know what? It'll do. Yeah, former prostitute who works closely, who joined up with the gang at some point. Don't know a lot about Abigail right now. I know where she ends up because I played Red Dead Redemption 1, but outside of that, don't know a huge amount. Let's see if I can get a character description of her. Here we go. An orphan who grew up scrapping out a living in dive bars and brothels in the West, Abigail is a strong, straight-talking woman who has seen a lot of her life and knows what it takes to survive against the odds. Abigail has a difficult life right now. She's raising a child in an incredibly hostile environment, with a man who, not necessarily that she doesn't like, I do believe that she loves John, but I think in the same way in which Arthur's trust has been damaged by John leaving, she doesn't have that trust in him either anymore. There's a point where Arthur highlights that if he'd been a couple years younger, he probably would have married Abigail instead. And hadn't been obsessed with Mary Beth, he probably would have married Abigail. Because they do have a lot in common. She's strong-willed, she's independent, and loves her family dearly, but can be quite strict sometimes. Her main focus is keeping Jack safe. And I think again, very interesting. Hi, Chorus. We're just discussing the characters. Again, Abigail kind of is one of those few people who seems to represent sense in all of this. She's the one who, you know, at least with John the most, is like, what the fuck are we doing? You know? We have a son to look after. Why are we doing this? She's one of the characters there who seems to be more trapped by circumstance rather than necessarily a desire to be a member of the gang. And Uncle. Everyone's lovable, lumbago-driven uncle. What do we know about Uncle? Uncle is a lazy man. Uncle... Oh, wait, we've got to do the name thing. Abigail's name means cause of joy. And... we'll look at her birth name, Robert. I believe it's Roberts. Is it Roberts or Robertson? Roberts. Bright Flame. So her name effectively means flame of joy. Which, I suppose when you look at it from John's perspective, Abigail definitely does represent that, because they do love each other. They're at odds with where they currently are in life. John's not good with people. He's not been taught to socialize in the same way that Arthur has, and that puts him at odds with his wife and his kid, and, you know, is why he ran away for a year, because he was scared. And I can't imagine that was very easy on Abigail. So then we have Uncle. Uncle, a hanger-on, good-time guy. Uncle is always around when the whiskey is open and never around when there's any work to be done. If he wasn't so entertaining, Dutch would have cut him loose long ago. Uncle's interesting. He's a character who has implied to have an interesting history, but it could also just be bullshit. To such an extent, we don't even know his name. So again, there's not a lot to talk about here. You can find him drunk around the camp quite a lot. He always has a story. And he claims that he was once known as the one-shot kid, which I find quite interesting. Which means he might have had a past as a gunslinger, but has, you know, faded from that glory. Again, I think like Abigail and like, to some extent, Pearson and Grimshaw, and some other characters like Mary Beth and Tilly, Uncle's kind of meant to represent the kind of thing that we want. The community that we feel like we have. His horse Nell literally means shining light. So while we can't analyze his name, we can look at his horse's name and be like, I think Uncle's role is to inspire the people of the gang. And that's kind of why they keep him around. You know, it's the ideal community where you don't have to work, but you choose to. You can make your own life in your own way. Mary Beth Gaskill. Who is up there as one of my favourite characters. Not the link I meant to click. But yeah, I'm getting some of this, as you know, from the Red Dead Redemption wiki, but I am just making sure I avoid spoilers. A kind, good-natured young woman, which makes her the perfect criminal. By the time people realize they've been duped, Mary Beth is already on her way home with the money. She'd been put in an orphanage at a young age after her mother died of typhoid, but ran away to fend for herself and soon became known as the best pickpocket around. Smarter and more precipitous than she often lets on, Mary Beth likes to read and write and has dreams of becoming a novelist one day. According to Rockstar. Again, she's the nicest member of the gang. She's nice to Kieran. A few people have their eyes on her. We've seen Micah has his eyes on her. Dutch seems to have his eyes on her, or at least Molly thinks Dutch does. She is... Again, she's that kind of what we want to protect sort of thing. It's hard to describe her, but she's a good person, Mary Beth. Hasn't had much in the story. The name Mary Beth means Star of the Sea, and the name Gaskill means the name Gaskill apparently comes from a combination of the words, the Irish words for goat and shelter. Again, that's kind of just very on the nose naming. Yeah, we kind of hit, like, it's interesting how the wiki lays these characters out, where we have Abigail, Uncle, Mary Beth, Tilly, Karen, who are the next two we're covering, all kind of back to back, which I feel like all serve a similar focus, who are supposed to be people in the group that we go, yeah, this is why we do what we do. Tilly Jackson. An outlaw from the age of 12, Tilly ran with another gang before joining up with Dutch. Savvy, resilient, and dependable, she can more than handle herself and isn't afraid to speak her mind. Dutch apparently taught her how to read as well, from what I'm reading here. Tilly's an interesting character. She is sweet and innocent. She's the kindest of everyone. But what's interesting with Tilly is that, she is a black woman in the early 1900s. And I kind of wish that the story focused more a bit on that. Like, we've had it a bit with Lenny, but Tilly's never kind of mentioned what that must be like. And, it can't be difficult. But again, Tilly is a good representation of how the ideals of the Van der Linde gang, where everyone is equal. You can be, black, Hispanic, Native American, male, female. They didn't really have non-binary people around about then. So you can very much, see what she's supposed to represent in the group. Also, again, with this example of being kind of the reason why we fight, outside of just making money, the reason we want to make a community and make a better life, Tilly means strength in battle. So again, lumping her with Abigail, with Uncle, with Mary Beth, it's very much a group of people who it's like, this is the community that we protect. This is the family aspect that everyone talks about. Karen. A consummate scam artist and trigger woman who can drink pretty much anyone under the table. Bold and full of fun, she loves the outlaw life and wouldn't have it any other way. Although the debauchery is starting to take a toll on her after all this years. She speaks her mind and takes no nonsense, but is big-hearted and looks out for everyone, especially the other girls. Karen. Karen Jones. What's there to say about Karen Jones? I think the interesting thing about Karen is that Karen still fits in with the others that we've mentioned, where she is kind of that heart and soul of the group. But there's this other side of her, the side that she puts on, to everyone, that she is also one of the outlaws, and she's a bank robber, and she runs with the crew. And as we've seen from that description, where the years of debauchery are starting to take their toll, I feel like she has acted in this way for so long that she's kind of lost sight of who she is or who she wants to be. There's this I think Karen's going to be used in a very interesting way going forwards. In some ways, she's kind of like the yin to Sadie's yang. Whereas Sadie, or another way to put it is, Karen is trying to be what Sadie is. Very much how Micah is trying to be what Sean is. She's kind of this gun, she's this wannabe gun woman who has maybe let the image of being a gun woman and an outlaw take over from who she actually is, and she maybe has trouble relating to people. And again, you've got a character here who's an actress. Like, her profession is to some extent lying. And her name is literally like pure and favored. So again, with Tilly, with Star of the Sea, Mary Beth, Tilly was Mary Beth is Star of the Sea. Tilly is strength of something, strength in battle. Nell is shining light, and Abigail is cause of joy. These are very much like positive names, which are naturally supposed to make us feel positive about these people. You know what I mean? They're the heart and soul of the group. Except for Karen, there is this kind of tragic side of it where she seems to have kind of lost herself somewhere along the way. Which, when you look at the group, is very accurate. As we said, with Leopold Strauss and the kind of thing that the group started being a group of outlaws who robbed people and has gradually devolved into a group of murderers who steal from everyone. They rob from the rich and give to the poor, except for the fact they have a loan shark and they're stealing from everyone they can now, and they kill innocent people and they do whatever they have to do to survive. And in a way, Karen is a good representation of that. Hi, Sadie. A widow who is hell-bent on taking revenge upon those who killed her husband, relentless and afraid of nothing and no one, the wrong woman to cross, but very loyal to the one she loves. Sadie Adler. Sadie Adler is just starting to come into herself, so I don't want to say too much about her at the moment. We're very much seeing her come into the light. Again, works well when you consider her as a foil to Karen. But not a huge amount to say so far. Sadie's surname Adler is German for eagle. Again, Sadie's a character who I think is going to grow a lot more. So we don't have a lot to say about Sadie at the moment. Although her name literally means princess, which is funny because that's what Arthur calls her as a joke. Lenny Summers. Lenny desperately... I love Lenny. I love him to death. Lenny desperately wants to prove his use to the gang. We're starting to get into what I would call Dutch's Round Table. If we consider the story of Red Dead Redemption 2 to some extent a stylized legend of King Arthur, Arthur Morgan, King Arthur the Morrigan, or the Morgan. Lenny is what I would argue to be one of our first knights of Dutch's Round Table. Very educated man, which again is a particular choice because, you know, Rockstar made a choice. It's the early 1900s. Lenny is a person of color. And again, like Tilly, Lenny kind of represents the idea that in the Van der Linde gang and the Van der Linde's America, theoretically anyone could make it. But he is very desperate to prove himself. His name means brave and innocent, basically, or brave and gentle, which is what we have seen Lenny be so far. He's competent and effective and very loyal. And he has, like, again, ironically, who maybe first assumptions of, you know, a black man during the Wild West. Lenny is the most educated of the group, including seemingly preceding Dutch and Hosea and Arthur. Again, he's kind of that. He roughly falls into that light and soul of the party kind of thing. A role that he shares with Sean Maguire, who I just realized we haven't been doing the horses. We forgot to do the horses. Karen rides a horse called Old Bell. Sadie rides a horse called Bob. Lenny rides a horse called Maggie. Again, a lot of these horses are just very standard names. So I'm going to kind of avoid the horses. But yeah, Sean, kind of like Lenny, they make a good team if you look at them as kind of the gang's younger brothers. Both very desperate, it seems, to prove themselves. Very much like desire for the approval around him. Cheerful and confident men. Who apparently actually has a positive relationship with Lenny, who once tries to teach Sean to read. The two are often seen conversing, and Lenny tells Arthur that he likes Sean. By contrast, Sean often expresses a dislike of Micah. Okay. He's a man who's filled with bravado. Again, when paired up with Lenny, they make a quite an interesting dynamic. Just from like the way you can look at them. Some of the tropes that you would imagine are more stereotypical of stereotypically would have been given to by maybe worse writers, to be quite honest, to Lenny are instead given to Sean and vice versa, which is quite a good way to build out a diverse cast. Yeah. Oh, I realized how many fucking characters there are, which is why I'm just kind of speed running through all of them at the moment. Right at the end here. Charles Smith. I'm going to kill the pictures on being on screen, though. Just because that's getting a bit much, in my opinion. Yeah, then you get Charles, who is very much a loyal man, who... one of the interesting pieces of dialogue I found with Charles was when, early on, when Arthur was like, thought he would have left us by now. Charles gets very, I don't want to say defensive, but he gets very like, do you want me to leave? Like, he's not someone who's probably used to being spoken to directly. So having that is quite an interesting thing. But he's a very loyal member of Arthur's of John Dutch's knights. Fuck me. Also, someone pointed out somewhere, Charles buries a lot of people in this game. A relatively recent recruit to the gang, Charles is quiet and reserved, but extremely competent in everything he does, and virtually unbeatable in a fight. A decent, honest man who happens to be deadly. Again, relatively recent addition. You could put him in a nice contrast with Micah, who is also a relatively recent addition, but is everything that Charles isn't. Dishonest, brash, loud, arrogant man. Micah, a career criminal and hitman, wild and unpredictable, but he lives for the action. Definitely the most immoral member of the gang. We've had a few discussions about Micah. I'm actually doing these ones shorter because we have a lot more to say on these characters. Bill Williamson, an ex-soldier discharged from the army, possibly dishonorably. Hot-headed, he tends to act first and think later, but is tough, dedicated, and always ready to fight. In a D&D party, Bill would be the barbarian of the group, the fighter barbarian. He's very much an aggressive man. There are rumors, or there's not rumors, there's fan theories that Bill is gay, and I quite like that as a reading. He was dishonorably discharged from the military. For deviancy. He's very interested in Kieran's balls. And there is that one scene in the first chapter where Arthur's like, are they going to kiss him? Is he going to kiss him or hit him? When Bill's about to fight a guy. And there is, Hosea points out naming rhymes that wouldn't have worked, like Lenny and Jenny. He points out Bill and Will. Or Bill and Phil, I think. So... he tends to... Yeah. Bill strikes me as a character who's deeply insecure. And plays it off with bravado. Javier Escuela, a notorious bounty hunter and Mexican revolutionary, Javier immediately has a strong connection to Dutch's ideals. He's very committed, passionate, and loyal. He's a very loyal member of the gang. Very, very loyal man is what we have for really Javier. Then you got John, Arthur, Hosea, and Dutch, who I feel like we don't really need to cover because we cover them basically every stream. So there's a quick play-by-play of all of the characters of Red Dead Redemption 2. I highly implore that you read up on them yourselves. But obviously, if you do that, you will spoil the game. So there is a choice to be made, because they are an interesting group, and it's interesting to think about what the gang represents for everyone. You have, you have certain members who represent more of the community. Leopold Strauss, who represents how far the gang's fallen. Reverend Swanson, who represents the gang's ideals to be different from what they actually are. Stuff like that. Bill being, this hot-headed fighter barbarian. He's very much kind of... Again, when you start to pair characters together, you can start to grow interesting relationships. For example, Bill and Javier, where you have these two extremely loyal but very different kinds of men, where you have a hot-headed brute in Bill and a quiet and reserved and more strategic man in Javier. Or you have Micah and Charles, two very new additions to the group, who are both quiet and reserved, but are very different in the way in which they go about lives. Lenny and Sean, Mary Beth and Tilly, Karen and Sadie. A lot of the characters play well off of each other. Oh hell, even Karen and Grimshaw and Sadie and Sadie and Abigail, John and Arthur, Hosea and Dutch. All of these characters kind of play off of each other in pairings. So it's very easy to look at them all and go, okay, you two are similar, you two are similar, you two are similar. What do these say about each other? Anyway, guys, I think that's all we have time for tonight. So I would like to thank you all very much for coming out. I know for the last half an hour or so we didn't really play the game as much as we just sat here and talked about the game. But I hope that's alright for some of you. I think having check-ins here and there are very important. I think I would need to write some notes though in future, because trying to do it off the cuff like that became a bit overwhelming, if I'm honest. Before I leave, I'm gonna throw the question out there. I'll throw this into the official SkyeBlacke Discord as well, but which you can join with !Discord. I just realized part of my shirt is stuck together. That was odd. Do we like the fact that we're only going through one game at a time? Or would we prefer multiple games at a time? Because we're going to be on Red Dead for a significant while. And I just don't want anyone getting bored of Red Dead Redemption. So, there's some possible other options in the future. But we'll see what they are. But right now, I just wanted to say thank you all for coming out. We're gonna hop onto the end screen. And big thank you to all of my subs and my mods who make everything possible. Again, not all of my subscribers are shown on this list, and I don't know why. I'm trying to fix it. There's also Tundra, KDB, Prince Chorus, and Hello Lovely Scientist, as well as the people below. And Die for Scotland, who make this possible. If you want to join them, you can give me a sub, or you can support the stream in either individual or monthly way through Ko-fi. But know that your viewership is more than enough for me, and I would never ask, I will never gate stuff behind money outside of bonus YouTube content. The core of everything I do is always available to the public. Bonus content is the stuff that gets thrown on Ko-fi. you know, Kofi's had actually a couple good additions recently. There is a there's a semi-series I'm doing called All the Films I've Watched This Year, or God, what was the fucking acronym for that? ATIF 22, but that's going to be changed into All the Media I Absorbed This Year or something like that. Well, basically it is a blog series that's updated every now and again, where I write about the significant pieces of media that I've, you know, enjoyed and why I think they're good. They also get access to YouTube content, the video essays, a couple days early, and they get access to behind the scenes and director's commentaries. Ko-fi, like everything, is kind of growing right now, but it's a cool place. Go check it out. You can support either in a one-time or a monthly fashion. It's one of the reasons I like Ko-fi, but only monthly supporters get access to the behind the scenes content. Anyway, another great way to support me though is follow me on social media. You know, retweet the streams if you're interested. You know, reshare, retweet. You can follow me with !social on all your relative social channels. We recently opened up a Skye Blacke Instagram, which is kind of where I'm using the fact that I am a filmmaker and a photographer. So we're throwing some stuff on there, and it will become especially useful in April when I'm taking 2 weeks off of streaming. You guys can kind of keep up to date with what's going on around with me. So I'm gonna set us on to a raid now. I'm gonna raid Laura K. Buzz, the queen of representation to some extent over here on Twitch and YouTube, the creator of accessibility, a very accomplished author, and the, as I have sometimes joked, the trans autistic streamer with a dyed side shave. No, not me, the other one. Laura's great though, and I hope you guys enjoy watching her play Elden Ring. Drop some bird emojis if you've got them, and we're gonna hop on over there just now. Hope you guys have a good weekend, and I'll see you again on Monday. Bye everyone.